today, I want to talk about how I got started with my own herbal business. Okay, I wrote some notes down because if you watched any of my videos, my previous videos, I love to just give every single detail, and then somehow I just get off track and get to talking about something else. So I have a timeline, okay? And I want to just share my experience on how I started my own herbal business. Now, before I can get into that, I have to tell y'all where this all started from. Okay, this is where it all started from. In 2016, I was working in dialysis. So I was a dialysis technician. Basically, we took people vitals, we hooked them up to this machine to help. Um, the machine served as kidneys, so it helped to filter, do the same role as the kidneys basically. And I had been trying to get that job for so long. I was in school for nursing, um, and I was where was I working previously? Previously, before dialysis, I was working in this field where we took care of patients with disabilities and stuff. So I worked in that field for about 5 years, and I had been trying to get in dialysis for so long. I was so persistent with trying to get that job. Finally landed it. It took me about a year. I finally got the job, and just going through the training and stuff, it wasn't really easy for me to catch on. Eventually, I caught on, but it still was. I, I don't know. Now that I look in hindsight, I think it was never really meant for me to catch on, because the lifestyle, that just wasn't my path. That was not the path. I believe if I would have caught on and didn't overthink everything. Now, I was a good technician. I took the people vitals and all that, but I was not like good with, like, when it comes to phlebotomy, I was not good at that. I was just really not good. I would get freaked out. Nursing, it was not for me. So me working in dialysis, I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. I'm not about to finish nursing school. I'm not going to um try to make this lifestyle work for me. Also, um, prior to dialysis, no, not prior to dialysis. Let me stay on track. I just got a notification, so I'm distracted. So yeah, I worked in dialysis, and it just didn't align with me. That was one of my second to my last job. So I worked really hard to get out of that space, and then I got into administrative work in a nursing home. So like worked in, like, under the business office. I got into that, saw firsthand how insurance works and just that whole field. And that was like the most draining job from, oh, like Lord, just talking about it just bring back so many emotions. So just to make a long story short, going to school didn't resonate with me anymore to be a nurse. I saw how long the nurses worked. Even though people tell me to this day, well, you don't have to be a nurse that works those long hours. You can create your own schedule and go into a different field. It just didn't align with me anymore. And now looking back, it was all because it was setting me up to be on this path. So in 2016, like I said, I was working as a dialysis technician. And then I think in 2017, I got into the business office work. Now, between 2016 and 2017, like from me going to a dialysis technician into my new job, I started doing what is called hot plates. So basically, I would fry homemade chicken tenders, fries, make this garlic cheesy bacon bread, loaded potatoes, uh, this hibachi type food. I like did hot plates. Okay, I had like a different menu. Like, so basically every day that I was off work, I would do this. I would sell these plates. And man, it's crazy just looking back on all this, because my dialysis job actually worked with me because I wanted to be off I wanted to only work 3 days during the week in dialysis, and we worked long hours too. So at one point we was working like 10-hour shifts 4 days a week, and I told them I just want to work 3 hour I mean 3 days a week. um and this just kind of put me in position of making these hot plates, right? I made hot wings, chicken tenders, all that type of stuff. So after a while, that didn't resonate with me anymore. I did that for a few months, and I was like, serving this type of food to my community just does not feel right. I feel extremely guilty for offering this type of food. Hold on. Yeah, I felt extremely guilty for offering this type of food. So it was time for me to go in another direction. And this is when I got into, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Amaya. This is when I got into juicing and meal prepping. And this is when I got into plant-based. So I started doing like vegetarian meal preps, low carb, things like that. I got into meal prepping. So that's technically my first legit business, was meal prepping and juicing. At 2017, I was like at an all-time high when it came to meal preps, making meal preps and stuff. So I also was making natural products and stuff, but I wasn't selling a lot of stuff that I offer now. I believe I was selling some natural products, and I don't know, like with my meal prep customers, I would make up blends of herbs and give to them to help with different issues that they had, but I wasn't focused on it yet. I wasn't focused. I remember being at work, like I would be on break, I would go sit in my truck and just study herbalism, and I was just really, really into it. Um, at one point, okay, let me go back. So I told the story on here how like I got into herbalism. I feel like it was something that was just in me. Since I was a little girl, I've always been drawn to nature. I felt really connected to herbalism. I didn't know the term at the time, but knew that I was connected to things that grew from earth. I was just really into natural things, nature. I was just into it. So there was already a seed that God planted in me. I truly believe that, because that interest, nobody, I never seen nothing, nobody around me doing it. I never watched anything that drew me to that lifestyle. It was just really something that I feel like God just marked me to be where I'm at now. So like I said, it just wasn't resonating with me anymore, making those type of meals that I used to make. And so I got into juicing and meal prepping, and I was making some natural products and some herbal medicine, but nothing like what I do now. So wow. um the job I was working at the time, I started, a super awakening just started coming over me. And I used to be one of those people, I was like, I don't never want to work for myself because I want for show money. I don't never want to have the responsibility of being a business owner. I used to always say that, always. So it's just my first year of like working for myself, I was just really shocked because I never wanted to work for myself. But I just remember receiving all these downloads, and I have it in my old journal. I remember like asking God to give me signs that it's time to leave my job. And when I tell you, I got like 3 signs within a week. And it was just clear as day. Like, I'm gonna have to tell this story one day. Maybe the next story should be how I knew it was time for me to leave my 9 to 5. Because I was planning on, and I did, I milked my 9 to 5. I took my 9 to 5 money saved up, and my 9 to 5 money funded my business, even though it wasn't like a lot of costs. I didn't have a building or anything, but it just put me in a position where I had cushion, I had security. Plus, I'm married and everything too, so that helped as well, like with me just leaving my job. But I'll talk about that in another story. So yeah, start doing the meal preps and all of that. End up leaving my job February 2018. And what's funny is February, when is my son birth? February 27, 2018 was February 27, 2018 was the last day I worked my job. February 2000 February 27, 2020 was the day I gave birth to my son. So I just find this so crazy. My last day of working was February 27, 2018. 2 years later, I had my son. Like, it was just, and I had been struggling to get pregnant. So it was just all in alignment. It's just, and I'm gonna have, oh my God, I got so many stories. I'm gonna have to have my husband tell the story of like when I called him to tell him I was pregnant. So here I am working full time at this point, working, meal prepping and juicing. I took after I meal prepped and juiced, had my juicing business for 6 years. At this time, I was already making herbal products and stuff. What was it? 2021? Was it 20? I think 2022 was my last year of meal prepping. 2022 or 2021, one of them. 17, 18, 19, 21. Okay, so I did the no 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22. Was it? I can't remember when it was. Okay, but I had a meal prep. I think going into the 6th year was my last year. But I started I started moving more into the direction of my herbal products and stuff. I've moved into that direction. I've started feeling burnt out when it came to meal prepping because I did keto, low carb, regular, and plant-based and pescatarian. I did all of that, and I have to go back and do my numbers, but it was busy, and I made a lot of money with meal prepping. But I got into I want to focus more on natural products and herbal remedies, herbal medicine. So I got into doing that a lot more. And the name of my business used to be Sincerely Nature Meals and Products. Oh my God, crazy, right? So, yeah, that's how I got into the herbal business. I really started off doing nutrition, and my thirst and my interest for herbal medicine and natural products kind of overpowered the nutrition part, and I just got really good at making products and herbal remedies and collected reviews, and it was just time for me to move in that direction. But um prior to me, because I have on here a note, I wrote something down. But prior to me leaving my job, like I said, I had these confirmations that it was time to leave. And I remember one time this was like in 2017. I'm gonna have to really revamp this video because as I'm talking about it, this is like a summary. This is almost like a summary, like me brainstorming. I remember, man, this is crazy. God is speaking to you. If you are on the fence of starting your own business, I would say this right here. Always work your 9 to 5. Don't just quit. Don't just quit your job. And you know what? I really need to do another video because I feel myself going in another direction. Signs, it's time to leave your 9 to 5. That's a video I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna talk about my experience real quick. One day at work, I was working at this I was a receptionist at this nursing home. This was the first nursing home that I worked at. Um I remember one day at work, I took a pen and I had a sheet of paper. It was just so destined for me to do this, yeah. To be doing what I'm doing. And I remember just all these thoughts start rushing towards me. I wrote down shampoo, deodorant, conditioner, um, soap, hair oil, eczema salve. Like I wrote down like when it just was coming through me. It was coming through me. I believe that's called scripting now. I'm not good with all the terminologies, but this was in 2017. I was still Christian and all this type of stuff. But I'm talking about I was just writing stuff down. It was no resistance. It was just coming through me. I literally was at work, and when I wrote everything down, I looked at the list. I had put Sincerely Nature on top. And when I looked at the list, I was like, how am I gonna know how to make this stuff? How am I going to know how to make this? And I was like, God, this what you want me to do? This was 2017. I remember clear as day at work. I literally remember. And I started making that stuff. I heavily got into it around 2018. Around 2018, I remember being in my back room. This was before my son was born. I was making deodorant. I was like experimenting with everything. Now I had already been experimenting like in 2015 and 16, making my own body butters. And I, gosh, this is so exciting because if you ever feel stagnant, go back and read your own journals. And if you do not journal now, I encourage you to do so. Make sure you write down the dates, write down the times, write down what you have on, where you was at, your address. Write that stuff down so when you go back and read your own journals, you can see how far you came. Because that's what I do when I look at my old journals. I'm like, oh my God, what I wrote down has come into fruition. So all this stuff I wrote down. I made shampoo, I made body wash, I made soaps, I made conditioners, I made toothpaste. I made all of those products. Now I don't physically make those products anymore, but I do have a book where I teach you how to make your own products. With step-by-step instructions on how to make your own products. I remember another download I had. It was raining. It seemed like every Friday when I would get off of work, it would be raining. It would be raining, and when I would get off of work Monday through Friday, like my Monday through Friday job, I would get off of work Friday evening. This when I was meal prepping. I would get off of work, and it seemed like every time I got off of work, it was raining. Seemed like it was like a season of it always raining. Yeah, I used to work hard, and it was just it. It don't even seem like it was me that was doing this. I'm telling you, it was something working through me. And getting off of work every Friday, it would be raining, and I would have to grocery shop. Customers head up into Friday at a certain time to submit their payment so that they can have their meal preps by Sunday. So I would get their payments. They would be sending me the payments while I'm at work. I get off of work. I can't remember what time I used to get off. I think it was 4 or 3:30, one of them. Get off of work. I would have to go to the grocery store. Sometimes I have to go to 2 grocery stores because that's just how I was raised, to always go to multiple grocery stores for the best deals and stuff like that. So I used to go grocery shopping, buying all these folks' foods. I had the meal out. My God, I just remember this was a time. And I just remember one time I had just got rained down on so bad, and I wasn't bothered by that. I was just trooping through it. I was so driven to do this. I was fulfilling my purpose of getting people to eat healthier and to reach health goals and stuff like that. I remember one person I meal prep for, he got so much into shape that he ran his first marathon, and bodybuilders and people who were um uh, on high blood pressure medication and people who were offered medication for diabetes. Like, man, when I just look back. Anywho, it was raining so hard and I got rained on really bad. And so I sat in my truck and I just remember God speaking to me. And it was so fast how God was speaking to me. I couldn't remember. I was like, oh my God, I wish I had like a voice recorder so I can play back what was said, but it was clear as day what the message was at the time. And it was like I was receiving all of these downloads of where my business was going to go and where it was going to take me to. So how I started, because this video is about how I started my herbal business. How I started my herbal business was being obedient, listening to God, letting God use me, never complaining, feeling so driven to do these things. It didn't feel like work. It felt like if I don't even want to say assignment, because assignment, it just felt like something I was supposed to do. Like, you know how you take care of your children, like you just got to take care of your kids. That's what it felt like to me. It's like I had to do it. It doesn't feel like a job. It's something that I'm enjoying. I felt purpose fulfilled. And basically, I went from working a 9 to 5 and meal prepping and juicing. And then when it was time for me to leave my 9 to 5, I did meal prepping and juicing while crafting natural products and herbal medicine. When my natural products and herbal medicine started taking off, and it's like it happened right on time because I had started getting tired from meal prepping. Once I started, making a lot of sales and my name was getting a ring, like my name had a buzz to it. I didn't have a large social media following or nothing. But when my products and herbal medicine just started getting a name, or I don't know, it's like, I don't know, like it just started taking off. I don't know if I would have been able to live on my own, and I don't think I was definitely not at a point where I could pay all of my bills and have my herbal product business and my herbal remedies business. My husband, that helped me out, like, but it got to a point where it was like it just started making a whole lot. Every time I do these videos, I get to brainstorming and I'm like, I need to do another video. So I'm going to do an updated video, but I just want y'all to know, if you're thinking about starting your own herbal business, do not just quit your job. Work your business full time. The same way you work in somebody else's job, work your business full time. Put those same amount of hours in every week, just like you do the job that you're working. Put in the same time. I put in the same amount of time by studying herbalism, by experimenting, by giving away free products so that people can experience them and let me know how it worked for them. I wrote down what God told me, the messages that I could remember. I wrote them down. I was just in this season of just silence and being obedience. So that's how I started my herbal business. It was just God working through me. God gave me the direction. I asked for signs when it was time to leave. I got those signs clear as day. I'm gonna have to find that journal so I can go back and read it. And it's about to be 8 years. February of this year, it's about to be 8 years that I've worked for myself, you know, that I've had my own business full time. And I enjoy serving the people. I'll do another video of this because I was kind of all over the place. But I hope this gave somebody some type of inspiration. When it comes to herbalism, you can learn it, but some people who are herbalists, it's a calling. I'm gonna say that again. When it comes to herbalism, you can learn it, but for some of us, it's a calling. All right? All right, y'all. Peace.